Been looking after FAUGHEEN for about 6 years or so. Started in Willie's back in 2011 and was there for the summer, and FAUGHEEN happened to come into the barn. Lucky enough, I got to ride him one day and said, "No, to all the boys in the barn, I'm looking after him." And he says, "You can have anything else you like." He says, "But I'm having him." He's a gentleman, very easy to look after. There's nothing to him really. He's a very easy horse with no bad habits. He doesn't bite, doesn't kick. Leads everywhere, does everything you want him to do. You know, absolute pleasure to look after. No, it's a lot more because each lad in the yard have 4 or 5 horses to look after. So over a long period of time, you're looking after those horses, so they become almost like a personal pet to you and companions. Everybody gets very attached to them, like I say, and even say when somebody's riding out, they're always looking after, making sure they're doing the right thing. And it's very much so the same with me and FAUGHEEN. You just become attached to him. Whatever he does in the yard, you're involved in it, you know. Yeah, well, my day starts at 5:15 every morning, up out of bed, go feed my own 2 horses, get on the road for about 20 to 5:45, into the yard for 6:30, basically everybody has their own barns to look after. We have 10 horses, and you go in, you check legs, feed the horses, make sure everything's all right. And then basically you muck out, get ready for riding out at 8 o'clock. And you go up to the tack room, see what you have to ride out. And basically then you go through the motions, whatever, whether it be an ordinary cantering day or a work day, or whether they have to school or whatever, and it goes on from there. It's a joint thing between everybody. I'm very much involved in what was done and what had to be done, getting them back to the track. For long periods there, I was doing 6 to 8 weeks of walk and trying to get them back. You were riding them out twice a day, trying to keep the exercise into them without doing too much. You couldn't aggravate the injury, but we were under pressure trying to get them back to the track. And it was a frustrating 2 years because we were almost there every time, and just as we were there, just went wrong. I'm probably not an emotional person like a lot of people. I don't get nervous before a race. I don't get excited or anything after a race or anything. Just as it was a great pleasure to see what work you've done for the 2 years actually come to a peak, and to do it so well, you know, because you know what the horse can do, and you're telling everybody how good he is, and for him to actually come along and do it is brilliant, you know. But as an emotional person now, I don't get excited like when he wins his races. I'm not the type of person to be jumping around the place, whatever. But it's a great pleasure for me to actually get him to the point of where he's actually winning these races, you know. Yeah, for a long time in the yard I knew how good he was, and for a long time I was kind of having to keep it quiet. Being a new lad in the yard, if somebody knows how good he is, somebody else is going to take him over and look after him. So for a long time I was always keeping it quiet and keeping it down in amongst the ordinary horses, and just, you know, would tip away now. I know how good this guy is, you know. You always hope he's as good as he is, but this guy gave me a great feel, you know. And when he went for the Neptune, I was very confident, you know. Never told anybody, but as I said, there was about 10 lads in the yard bouncing around me, but once I knew he got to the last hurdle, there was nothing going to catch him. Yeah, it's a great feeling. You know, you've put in all the early hours, the long days, and it all comes to this at the end of the day. Champion hurdle is the pinnacle of hurdling racing. Like, as I say, this is where you want to be. This is how good you know the horse is, and it's for the horse as well as yourself, like, to just show how good he is. Like, you know, it's the difference between driving a Mini and a Ferrari, and he's just a Ferrari. He just has that power behind him. When he goes, he just goes, you know, and he's fantastic. Like, you can't actually describe the feeling when you're riding work on him, or even Ruby riding him in a race will tell you. Like I say, you just push the button and it just zoom, you're gone. A couple of days before the race, we'll hit the ferry, probably in Dublin, depending on sailings and whatever, you know. Head on down, get Cheltenham in the afternoon, unload the lorries and get the horses in, fed up, hayed and watered, give them a while to settle in, and then we'll take them out for a walk that evening. It's a case of we get out early in the morning, we get them mucked out and get them out for a walk, get them exercise, and then the jockeys and all come in, the lads will come in, we ride him out for a bit of a canter just to stretch our out legs, and a lot of cameras will be around there, and the photographers and whatever will be all asking questions and everything, you know. And then we get him settled in and let him settle down for a while before the race. Probably we'll go off for our lunch, come back, get tacked up, and get him walking around and basically get ready for the race, you know. As I say, as we're wrapping up in cotton wool, there's no point in worrying about it. As I say, at that stage, we're there, we're ready to race. No, as I say, I don't think about it. I always believe whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You've done your work, you've done your preparation. As I say, if you've done everything right, it should come to a peak on the day. As I say, you can't change what's happened at that stage. You're there. You can't change what's done. If you're ready, you're ready. And if luck goes your side, you'll hopefully win on the day. I like watching it. As I'd never turn away. I love watching it. We normally stand down in a bunch of us together. All the lads from the yard. There's usually a stable lad area where you just stand in and we all watch it there together, you know. As whoever wins on the day, you give him a clap on the back and say well done. It probably would be it'd be a fantastic thing, because he's done it once when I've known he's good, and with the way things have gone this year, it hasn't gone to plan, and it would be brilliant if he did, you know. He's a lot older. It's going to take a fantastic feat for him to actually come back and do it, you know. He's a great horse and he deserves to prove that he's a great horse. And if he does it, it'd be great. Champion hurdle. Fantastic. That would have to be probably Arctic Fire. Ruby White. Fences. Kennedy. ELLIOTT. I'll have to stick with Homer every shot. Duvan. Team Ireland.